There's no doubt that the annual King of the Hammers event in Southern California is the most outrageous and action-packed off-roading mega show of the year. But the last 2 times that we've gone, there has always been one thing that drew us in the most. Although the Ultra 4 cars are ridiculously awesome and intense to watch, they're not my favorite part about attending King of the Hammers. I mean, almost favorite. But what I love to watch even more is all of you guys who have your rigs there, bajaing and blasting up the obstacles there. In 2020, we spent a majority of our time hanging out at Backdoor, but this year, it was all about Chocolate Thunder. Upon arriving through the gates of Hammertown and venturing our way over to what originally was going to be Backdoor, we noticed from a distance what appeared to be a bunch of raisins parked off camber on the hills surrounding Chocolate Thunder. Way more raisins that were up by Backdoor. So with an immediate right-hand spin of the steering wheel of the rental Bronco, we were on our way to find out why there was a bunch of little dark dots surrounding a gaping valley in the mountainside. Turns out, and as we had suspected, what appeared to be a bunch of little raisins from quite a distance away were hundreds of off-road vehicles parked on the hills around Chocolate Thunder, and as we got even closer, ended up seeing hundreds and hundreds of people standing up even closer to the famous hill full of massive cliffs and boulders that even experienced racers have fallen victim to its mighty terror of breaking rigs apart to smithereens. If there's anything more exciting than watching dozens and dozens of variations of off-road rigs take their death-defying leap of faith up Chocolate Thunder with high horsepower engines screaming through thousands of piston cycles while tires are spinning at what looks like to be hundreds of miles per hour and tire smoke is just rolling off them to the point where you can no longer see the rig in question and can only hear the scream of the engine and the roar of the crowd while still having your clothes on, well, then somebody please let me know, because I don't know of anything else more exciting than that. I mean, we're talking about custom built 2 buggies with 4-wheel steer, rear engines, 40-inch tires, and sticks to the side of a rock like a mountain goat just gallantly and effortlessly climbing its way to the top, to the guys with the massive 4-door chopped truggies loaded up with passengers, music blaring, just having the time of their lives, and anything and everything else in between. And there was also definitely a fair share of custom Toyota truggies that look like they have battled a few wars against the rocks, but every time they came out victorious and asking for more. Some of them didn't even have any or barely any tread left on the tires and were still making high-dollar UTV guys look like little Power Wheels as the Toyota truggies would graciously make it to the top of Chocolate Thunder over and over again. I mean, some of the UTVs would make short work of the hill, but many had their fair share of defeats stacking up against them. Which we can't pick on the side-by-side guys too much, as we also had experienced our own wild little ride going up to the second big rock climb on Chocolate Thunder. Before our second trip over to the big hill of Make It or Break It, we ended up meeting up with Nick Ashby and the crew from Rockstar Performance Garage. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Rockstar Garage, make sure and check them out on YouTube and Instagram. But if you are already familiar with them, then you know that they don't mess around when it comes to building some extreme performance-oriented rock crawlers. We didn't find out we were going to be actual participants going up Chocolate Thunder until after we made our way to the starting point of the hill. And it was at that point I realized my loosely strapped harness definitely needed some adjusting, or I was going to be tossed around like a jelly bean on a trampoline. And as much fun as that sounds, I definitely didn't want to get turned into tenderized hamburger after being a hearty slab of grade A tenderloin. So I grabbed my harness tethers and yanked those things as tight as I could until just about the point of barely being able to breathe. And let me tell you, it was a good dang thing I did, because as we began to ascend the second rock formation going up Chocolate Thunder, the front driver's side of Mitch's Jeep got real light, real fast. And before you could even say reverse,
back up. You guys good?
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. We're good.
Woo!
Let alone trying to shift it into reverse, it was already too late, and over on our side we went, and not just on our side, but it was more like on the side of the roof, to the point where if I hadn't completely tightened up my shoulder straps, I would have ended up falling out and onto the ground. But instead, Nick and I hung there pretty comfortably, I must say, until we got righted again. So lesson learned, guys. Even if it feels insignificant at the time, always make sure you're strapped in and strapped in tight, because something like this wasn't expected. Plus, it happened in less than a blink of an eye. Of no fault to Mitch, and being his first time ever laying his Jeep on its side, just so happened that he was a little bit too far over to the driver's side, and even crawling slow, and like it happened in slow motion, it just went up and over in the blink of an eye. The good news is though, only the windshield and frame was damaged, plus a little scrape on the passenger side rear quarter, but everyone was just fine and nobody got hurt at all. Well, maybe a little bit of Mitch's pride, but things like that can happen to anybody. So with the help of What the Kelsey Heck on Instagram, our co-pilot, and Nick Ashby, we got Mitch's Jeep uprighted and back to the bottom of the hill, fired it up, and back they were again wheeling the next day. All in all, watching the madness and experiencing it ourselves on Chocolate Thunder, and watching all of you guys just giving her the beans, was yet another phenomenal experience, and we can only hope and pray that we make it out there again next year. Also, if you guys are looking for your next wheel and tire package, especially like any of the ones you saw in today's video, make sure and check us out on TrailBuilt Off-Road, or we'll also have that link posted in the description below. And guys, as always, we appreciate all of you for watching and all of your support. I'm Josh from TrailBuilt, and we'll see you guys out in the trails.